Whenever I read a novel, the very first thing that I want to know is where did that story come from? How did the author get that idea? So that's what I want to talk with you a little bit about today about my new novel, 20. I'm Deborah Engel, and I'm the author of 4 books of nonfiction and now the new novel, 20, which actually came from a dream that I had. I think you hear this fairly often from authors because our dreams do speak to us. And if you're like me, maybe you have vivid dreams from time to time, and some that just linger and make you feel like there's something powerful or important there for you. Now, I dream all the time. I kind of drive my husband, Bob, crazy, telling him, guess what I dreamt about last night? But this particular dream, which came to me back in July of 2012, when I woke up from it, I knew immediately that I was supposed to write about what was in that dream. The thing was that there were only really 3 things I could remember. One was that there were these green gel like pearls, that if you stirred them into your food, they would melt. And 20 days later, you would pass away peacefully. Now, that could be a really creepy idea. It could be the basis for a horror story. But in the dream, it felt so peaceful, really almost heavenly. And that was the feeling, the energy that flowed through it when I woke up that made me so determined, really, to write about it. 2 other things were in that dream that I remembered. One was, of all things, a white towel. Now, that seems about as mundane as you can possibly imagine. But in the dream, the white towel had almost like lit up because it was so filled with energy. It was this idea that everything in our lives has such beauty in it if we can just stay still long enough and pay attention and really see it. The other thing that was in that dream was my brother Bob, who lives in Seattle in real life. But I couldn't remember exactly how that played into the story in the dream. So there I had it, the pearls, a white tufted towel, and Seattle. And that's where I started. So this is the part that I love about writing. You start exactly where you are. So I wrote about a woman stirring these green pearls into her yogurt. That became the very, very beginning of the story. Well, once you have that, you've obviously got some questions. Who is this woman? What's going on in her life? Why did she make this decision? What are her relationships like? What is it that she wants? And from there, the rest of the story just started taking shape. Now, of course, I had to weave in that white towel. It became a little detail further into the story. And as it turns out, Meg is the main character. Her sister, Holly, lives in Seattle. So Seattle got into the story as well. But all along the way, as we write novels, really we're just kind of looking for clues. What does this little detail lead to next? And then what does the character say is the next step and the next step? So the whole process of writing this book was kind of a dream in and of itself. And it was such a good example of how, when we follow our dreams, exciting things, unexpected things, wonderful things can happen. So I hope that you'll read 20. I hope that you'll talk about it with your book club or with people that you love. It's a book that's really close to my heart, and I hope that it will become close to your heart as well. And it definitely, definitely is evidence that wonderful things can happen when we follow our dreams.